Now, at least 5 cases of sexual abuse involving children have been reported in Nyeri's informal settlements in the past month alone, raising alarm over the safety of children. The victims, aged between 7 and 13, have suffered in silence as some cases go unreported while others are informally settled. Locals accuse the local administration of failing to take decisive action, with claims that some incidents are being ignored or swept under the rug. Authorities admit that many cases never reach law enforcement agents, as parents, fearing stigma or drawn into informal justice systems, choose to resolve the matters outside of court. NTV's Margaret Kimathi begins our broadcast tonight.
It was just an ordinary Saturday for this mother of 4 living in the Wetemere slums of Nyeri. After a long week of work, weekends are usually reserved for spending time with her children. On this particular afternoon, she stepped out briefly to buy soap from a nearby kiosk, leaving the children under the care of her eldest, a 9-year-old boy.
Nikamuuliza kwani kwa wapi brother yako? Akaniambia aliitwa na pasta, wanaendelea na pasta. Juu nilikuwa nimesikia tu fununu twake, juu kuna wakati alikuwa amefanya kitendo kama hicho, but kukaenda hivi hakuchukulia hatua juu ilisemekana hajamguza.
Prompted by unsettling memories from the past, the mother hurried to the said pastor's house and knocked on the gate only to find it locked. She called out urgently, repeating both her son's name and the pastor's, but there was no response. 30 minutes later, her son finally emerged from the house. She immediately sensed something was wrong with the way he was walking. Alarmed, she pressed him for answers.
Akaniambia nitakwambia lakini mama usinichape. Akaniambia nilienda kwa hivyo kwa pasta, akaniambia niende pancake, atanipe pancake nikule. Akanianza kuniguzaguza, akanitoa nguo, akaniambia nilape hivyo kwa kitu na akatoa zake. So wakati tulikuwa na Twitter, ndiye alikuwa anaendelea bado kuniingiza kidogo. Wakati sasa alisema wakati nilikuwa nataka kuitika akaniziba mdomo kidogo. Sasa wakati ulisema Maxwell tena after kukaa ndio sasa tukaitika, akanipea pancake nitoke kama nakula ndio uone ni kama tulikuwa tunakula pancakes. Sasa mtoto akaniambia tena, hata alikuwa ameniambia nikifika home nione vile nitajificha nirudi huko.
Distressed by her son's confession, she alerted her neighbors, who quickly mobilized and went to the pastor's home to confront him. At first, the 67-year-old pastor denied the allegations. However, as more residents gathered and demanded answers, he eventually admitted to committing the assault.
Wakati nilimwangalia nikaona huku nyuma kumepanuka sana, nikaita mama mmoja hapo hivi kwa barabara, nikamwambia kuja unisaidie kuangalia kama kuna kuanga hivi na hapa nyuma. Akaniambia hapana, mtoto tu anatoa tu hewa kama ameinama, na unaona tu all the way through na anatoa tu yani si kawaida.
Enraged by the confession and accusing him of being a repeat offender, the mob turned violent. The pastor was lynched on the spot, a tragic end that underscores the deep frustration and lack of trust in the justice system within Nyeri's informal settlements.
Si hata si shule anaenda, si ni akwada medication. Mtoto anakunywa hizi dawa za kuzuia nini juu ndizo tulipatia huko hivyo. Akikunywa mtoto ni kutapika tu. Sasa nilija tukarudi mpaka hospitali, tulikuwa PGH. Nikaambia akafanyia vipimo, nikaambia bado aendelee kukunywa. In case hiyo uchungu iko hapo hivyo chini ya tumbo na isipoacha turudi hospitali.
Before Baby Tamara, we had such cases and we have not found them in any reports, either filed by any chief or filed by any assistant chief. They have not been filed. And I can say without hiding that you may ask the chief and they tell you Nyumba Kumi has not reported.
It's a communal problem.
Nyeri County Commissioner Ronald Mwiwawi has condemned the rising cases, stating that efforts are underway to streamline the local administration, particularly the Nyumba Kumi initiative, which has come under scrutiny.
Instead of maybe the assistant chief appointing a Nyumba Kumi elder or a Nyumba Kumi head, we have directed that public barazas should be held. Let the people choose their own leaders, because they understand them, they know them, they are people who live among themselves, so that we get people who can be accountable to the members of the public.
Nguo zilimtoka aje?
In the neighboring Kiawara slums, another heartbreaking case of child abuse was reported on the same week. On Monday evening, Martha Muthoni, not her real name, left for work, leaving her 8-year-old daughter in the care of her aunt. At some point during the evening, the aunt stepped out briefly to buy supper, leaving the young girl alone in the house.
So that time amekuja aliita mama mtoto akaitika, toka haraka. So mtoto alidhani ni la Jordan naitana. The time mtoto alitoka akapata ni huyo kijana. Kutoka atakampea 20 bob. Kesho ende anunue keki akienda shule. Mtoto akakataa.
The child was rescued by the perpetrator's wife, who arrived home unexpectedly and found the child naked.
Akatoa manguo. Mtoto akiwa amesimama hapo. Akatoa mtoto nguo ati stocking moja. Na akamwekelea kwa kitanda. Unde akatoa nguo kila kitu. Je, alikuwa uchi. Akaanza kumguza. Alikuwa tu anaguza the private part. Kwenye alikuwa anaigiza mpaka vidole.
According to the Department of Children's Service in Nyeri Central Sub-County, 5 cases of child sexual abuse have been reported in 1 month in Majengo and Wetemere slums. The affected children aged between 7 and 13 years.
Our lawyers were here because we've already got about 3 cases. We've got a case in court of a 7-year-old girl who was defiled by a priest, a 70-year-old priest. It has been ongoing. That's why we want justice very soon, because this case has been ongoing. Now it's going to a year since the priest was apprehended.
The safety of children in Nyeri's informal settlement is now in serious jeopardy, with growing concerns directed at those meant to safeguard them, some of whom are becoming the very perpetrators of these heinous acts. And as the county grapples with this crisis, there is an urgent call to protect children at all costs. Margaret Kimathi, NTV, in Kiawara slums, Nyeri County.